What's going on, guys? Well, I just opened this package here, and after I opened it, I read the note and everything, and I saw that it said Yabo on the back. And if you don't know, Yabo stands for yet another box opening. So I want to turn the camera on and show it on camera. This came from Anthony in New Jersey, and the back of the note is all folded up, and it said, read first or last, your preference. So I decided to look at the stuff before I read the note. And first off, I saw this. And this is, you know, no surprise or anything. This is, of course, the Spyderco Resilience, which is essentially the large tenacious. But when I opened the knife, it had a very interesting design on it. Right? So I'm like, oh, that's cool. Must be some limited edition version somewhere. I flipped it over and I saw this. Right? I'm like, damn, man, that looks nice. And then I was trying to figure out what it was. It kind of looks like anime. It kind of looks like, I don't know, the guy from Pokemon, I guess. I don't know much about anime or anything like that, or most cartoon characters, or comic characters or whatever. But I'm like, that is a really, really cool addition of this knife. I'm looking back at the box to try to figure out what limited edition it is, right? And I have no idea, right? So I'm like, okay, put this aside. Then I looked in the bag, and this box is very heavy, right? So I looked in the bag, and I saw this. I'm like, okay, it's some paracord. I'm like, okay, some shades. I didn't know what this was, and the first thing I actually was focused on was the bottom of this paracord and how the paracord was cut and then, you know, fed back through itself. And I was fascinated by that. I'm like, oh, how do you do that? That's cool. So you can create a loop, you know. And then I'm looking at this, and it's just a bunch of chain, right? I'm pulling it out. I'm like, what is this? First I thought maybe it was a dog chain for Gus or something, or a leash. And then this portion of the chain is way stiffer. You can see there's these rings sticking out. I'm like, what is this thing, right? So you may see what it is, like, or realize what it is. I had no idea until I read the note. All right, so I laid it out here so you can maybe get a better view of it. What do you think that is? Some of you will probably understand what that is, but when I opened it, it was just a ball of chain and stuff. And like I said, I was so fascinated by the little paracord work there, I just couldn't figure it out. Now I realize what it is, of course. This is a homemade chain whip. That's right, a whip. So as soon as I read the note, you know, because I didn't figure it out, I had to read the note. And Anthony had made this whip by hand, right? A beautiful, beautiful work, right? So I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's interesting. I've never seen a chain whip like that before. I've only seen leather whips. And then I actually tried to use the thing. This thing is ridiculous. Now, obviously you can't see right now, but I'm just gonna stand up and give this a little whirl here. Let's see if I can get it to get a good crack. There we go. That is definitely an extremely functional whip. So before I literally smack the eyeball out of my skull and put that thing down, because I am not a whip aficionado, and I'm probably not wielding it correctly. But I did get it to snap. It sounds crazy, crazy loud. I can't even begin to tell you how functional that thing is. And in the right hands, obviously, you can use it for its intended purpose. So I read the note, I'm like, wow, that is really, really unique. Really, really strange. Then I learned later in the note that this is not a limited edition Spyderco. This is actually his own artwork, his own acid etch. Now the front is very cool, and that looks like legit, right? I mean, the Spyderco logo is kind of hidden in the hair a little bit. When you flip this over, I mean, this looks like something you'd get from a company. Obviously, it's his character. It's a close-up of him screaming. I don't know the story behind this character or anything about it at all, but you can clearly see that's what it is. But this gives, the image has so much depth because it's on, you know, the kind of polished part of the blade, and obviously the black here. It's a textural difference too. You know, this is more of a matte finish as opposed to the metal or the face part of it. It's really, really cool. Just super cool. I mean, I'm really kind of blown away. Now, let me show you part of the note here, because he said, well, let me just read the note to you. So, he wrote, this whip is my latest version, but I will most likely still improve upon it. The handle is made from nickel silver and welded stainless steel rings. The rest of the whip is made from various sizes of nickel silver. Eventually, I'd like to start selling these, but right now, time and money are kind of tight. I hope you enjoy the knife and the whip. I'd love to get some feedback from you on the whip. I'm not saying you have to make a video on it, but if you would like, or if you would, hold on. But if you do, sometimes I make stuff up with a rating. If you do, that would be awesome. I live in an apartment in a city, so I don't really have the space to try out the whips as much as I'd like. If you or the viewers are interested in my progress with the whips or at my other projects, you could follow me on Instagram at Chain Crash, okay? Chain Crash. And I definitely will find you on Instagram and follow you. If I do start selling the whips, I'll probably announce it there. Thanks for making awesome videos, and I hope you continue for many more years. Have a wonderful day, Anthony. Arcane C? I guess that's a nickname, maybe? Anthony, first off, your work is really something. It is really, really amazing. And yes, 110%, I really think you should sell these whips. Obviously, you said time and money is an issue. But if you do get the time, I don't know how you price them. I don't know what's appropriate as far as pricing. But I would love to see you sell these things. And I know there's people out there who are into whips that would love to get something like this. It's very, very unique. It is very professionally done, in my opinion. I obviously have nothing to compare it to, but it works. It's very cool, and it's very solid. My suggestion to you, the only person on YouTube who I know, personally, who I've ever seen a video, personally, that's ever used a whip is Tex Grebner. So if you do not know who Tex Grebner is, find him or ask me, and see if you can, hook him up with one, or have the availability to send him one to borrow or something, because he knows how to use whips. He has a couple videos on like putting candles out with whips, so he's pretty accurate with them, and he knows what he's doing, unlike myself, who, like I said, if I keep flying this thing around, I'm going to take an eye out or break something or slash, my couch open, because it's off to the right here. But yeah, this thing is insane, man. Absolutely insane. And as far as your etch work, really awesome. I mean, I don't know if you have plans on offering a service. I don't know how many hours you have into something like this, but if you can put someone else's image on their blades, I know so many people would pay pretty good money to have something like that done. If there's a specific logo that they like, or a character or something, who knows, but I can definitely see that being extremely popular. Your work is awesome, both the whip and the acid etch. Actually, let me just read the whole letter here. Dear Jeff, let me start off by saying I've been a fan of your channel for quite some time. I first came across your channel when I started getting into flipping battle songs, and some many years ago. Started watching some of the other videos you had at the time and have been hooked ever since. I'm a collector of hobbies, as am I, as you guys know, and you were responsible for starting me on a couple of them. So I just want to show my appreciation by sending you a couple things. I am a firm believer that when it comes to gifts, it's the thought that counts. And nothing is more thoughtful than something handmade. So in this package are 2 items. One item completely handmade by me, and one not handmade, but artistically modified by me. The first item, or second depending on how you decide to open this, is my acid etch Spyderco Resilience that I use for EDC every day. I actually used to EDC 2 of these, one in each pocket with zip ties on them, but I've stopped when I started working in an office. They just don't clip well in dress pants pockets. I agree there. I love the Tenacious line of Spydercos, and I have at least one of each. In the past year, I started getting into acid etching, and naturally, I had to try it on my Spydercos. The one in the package is the last one I etched, and of all the knives, I feel came out the best. Although it has its flaws, and I probably should have just done one side, I am proud of it and learned a lot. I have since moved on to acid etching small copper plates, which is much cheaper and easier to work with. I'm not sure if you're a fan of anime or not, but I'm sure you'll still appreciate the knife. The images on the knife are from the anime Hellsing of the character Sears Victoria. The second item in the box is a chainmail whip I made. I've been making chainmail for about 6 years now, on and off, mostly off. During this time, I mostly either made large armor pieces that took forever or small bracelets and such. It's got kind of boring for me, and I wanted to do something different. So about a year, while being bitten by the nostalgia bug, I was playing some of the old Castlevania games. On my wall, I have hanging a bunch of different chainmail weaves that I learned, and one of them was this length of chain that was supposed to be 3-in-1 half Persian, but I have messed up, and it ended up being another weave called Jacob's Ladder. I called it half-assed Persian until I learned the real name. So as I'm playing, I look over the wall and think to myself, I wonder if I can turn that into a whip. Now, I have no experience with whips, and at the time wasn't even sure if it would work. But like anyone else wanted to learn a new hobby, I jumped on Google and YouTube and started looking it up. Eventually found a video of a guy with a simple chain dog leash cracking it like a whip, which proved to me that it would work. So in the past year, I've made about 12 different versions of the whip, experimenting with different lengths, weaves, and materials, many of them failures, but I learned from each one and improved on the next. Eventually I realized I needed to weld the ring shut or it would slowly fall apart. So I bit the bullet and invested in a small welder. Made a big dent in my savings, but helped make the whips more durable. And of course I read the front. So yeah, actually I read this backwards. This is the back part of the letter, duh. So it starts here, there we go. But anyway, you guys get the point. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.